His bangs shifted on his forehead, moving in an unseen breeze. Creativity stirred, wrinkling his nose as he shakily moved a hand up to press his hair against his head to stop it from tickling him. Laughter was bad. Smiles were bad. Stillness, quietness, darkness. That was good. That was where he was needed. His hand slowly dropped from his hair to rest once more on his knees. Darkness. It was all he was now. Black, cold, darkness. Creativity's hair once more shifted, tickling his ear this time, sending shivers down his back. He let out the quietest of moans. Why was his hair moving against his will? It hadn't before. Why did it insist on torturing him like this? Before, his hair had only moved on its own when... His breath caught. When he'd been outside. Terror rushed through him as he jerked his head up, searching the darkness for where the movement was coming from. What could be in the box with him? Hadn't there only been enough room for him to curl up? He could feel it enclosing him on all sides, so why was there a breeze? What monster was going to... There. Creativity's breath caught in his throat as he caught the slightest glimpse of movements in the never-ending darkness. There was something in the box with him! Creativity shoved backwards, pressing against the other side away from the movement. Go away, don't eat him, don't eat him! He was just a little Creativity. He wasn't even worth munching on. Go, whatever it was, go away! He screamed when the movement brushed against his knee, burning like a hot coal. Too warm, too hot, its large pointy mouth was going to eat him. He was going to die! Creativity thrashed, his voice still echoing in his ears as he kicked out with legs that moved like wet noodles, desperate to get the burning monster away from him. The movement drew back, slithering away and out into the out. Somehow, the box had been opened. Creativity let out another cry, heart climbing into his throat. He wasn't safe. The box was open. He'd get into trouble with the masters if they found it open. He'd only be placed in an even more tiny box, and he hadn't even been trying to escape. Whimpering, his chest heaving, Creativity lashed out, his bruised and scab-covered fingertips fumbling along the edge where the opening was. There, a faint lip. Creativity shoved as hard as his winged muscles could, sinking back with a cry of relief as the lid snapped shut with a click. Safe. He was safe. He was good. The masters would never know. The box wasn't open. He was safe. He was being good. He was staying in the horrible darkness. Hot tears streamed down his face as his fingers felt over his knee, searching for a wound, for a bite, for skin rubbed raw, anything to tell him why his knee still burned from the monster's touch. Nothing. Creativity trembled. Nothing was there. The monster hadn't left a mark, though he could feel it. What did it mean? What did it mean? Had he been poisoned? Had the masters poisoned? No. The movement hadn't had the master's feel to it. This had been something new, something that had sought to kill him, and... Again Creativity's hair stirred against his head, and his ears caught the faint rustle of the lid being pushed back. No. His hoarse voice echoed in his ears as Creativity fumbled to shove the lid back in place. No, he would not be eaten! A faint hiss of displeasure sounded as the lid caught on something before Creativity managed to slam it back into place. Good. That would teach the monster to stay out. His fingertips drew back from the lid, only for it to once more shift over his head, the smooth edge sliding against his hands. No! His voice cut off in his scream, his throat closing up with terror as Creativity again scrambled to keep the lid shut. He was going to get into trouble. The masters were going to put him in an even smaller box, and he was going to be put in even deeper darkness, and he was not going to get any more ideas for them for even longer, and... His breath caught as a tiny prick of light, no larger than a grain of sand, dropped from the tiny opening before the lid clicked shut on its own. He went still, squinting at the brightness from the tiny light, watching as it drifted to the bottom of the box like a feather. Creativity pulled his knees up against his chest, flinching as the thing hit the ground. Light. It was light. His fingers trembled, aching to reach out to it. But no. Creativity closed his eyes, shaking his head. No. Light was bad. He was supposed to be in darkness. He was supposed to be still and quiet and... Creativity slowly cracked open his eyes, once more flinching at the tiny illumination. After so long in the dark, this light, it was nearly blinding. Yet Creativity found he couldn't look away. It was like His mind struggled to grasp onto what it was like. Like an idea? A little spark? It had been so long since he'd last seen one, he didn't even know if it was one. Creativity shook his head, looking away. No, it wasn't. It couldn't be. It wasn't from the masters, and if it wasn't from the masters, it wasn't an idea. It wasn't a spark, it was something bad, something that could harm him, and he was trapped with it until it went out. It had to go out, right? Right. Light always went out. Darkness always came, and creativity was meant to stay in the dark to please the masters. He just had to stay away from the tiny grain of illumination until it disappeared. Easy.